Hey everybody, my background was on in the Anthony Cumia show. I was on it, but all they talked about was my background because Anthony Cumia, even though he's a brilliant man, thought this was my real home. He saw it. He thought that was a real chair where a person with a tiny ass and a big head would live, and they became most of the show. And I talked over their co-host so much that he left the show forever. It was all my fault. So everyone that's watching, yeah, I made Dave Landau leave. It was me on my appearance. It wasn't because he had a plan. Take it, Frank.
Hello, thanks, Pat. Welcome to the Pat Oates Show. Tonight's guest, we have a comedian, weightlifter, Mr. Pete Angelo, and from the Bax and O'Brien morning show on Rock 102, Mr. Steve Nagle. Take it back, Pat.
You got to start memorizing. Your reading is terrible.
I don't want to be this guy.
From the Bax and
to be here.
Like
O'Brien.
Dead McMahon right there.
Oh.
Did you ad-lib the weightlifter, or did Pete send you a message? Tell him I'm strong. Like,
No, Pete's a weightlifter. Don't
so
you
is
see
Steve.
his Instagram
Steve
post?
lifts weights.
I mean, he's competitive.
So is
I mean,
Steve.
he's not
I
just jerking
stopped-
off in a gym. He's out there, competing.
He's doing it by himself in a video on Instagram. Who the fuck's
Well,
he
he's
competing
competing with
against?
himself. I don't.
You're competing against me.
You never challenged yourself to see who would come first between yourself.
Me.
You never did.
Come first.
Always me.
Come first. Weren't you a kid?
Me.
You mean jerking off? Are you being gross?
Yeah, we're jerking off when you were 12 years old. You never had a
Against
bet with
who?
yourself.
I'm always
You
gonna
have a
come first
mirror.
by
You
myself.
have a mirror and see who comes first. It's always a tie.
That was being old was weird.
It is.
They didn't have magazines yet, even. So
No.
he's just jerking off in his own reflection.
They shared a family
video
mirror.
To
His mom
your
always-
own reflection. That's
Frank,
Well, we
that's
got
not
one
a
we got one mark for a piece of shit right there.
Did you make eye contact?
Frank. That's not a mirror. That's a window. Stop looking at your father.
Oh,
People
God.
say
No,
video
seriously, you're
games
making
cause
eye contact
violence.
with yourself while jerking off?
I'm sorry. What was that?
You're looking in the mirror at yourself. So you're making
Yeah.
eye contact with yourself, jerking off.
Well,
and you're like-
more
you're like
of
Louis CK
down
yourself.
south. I was looking more down south than looking at my face.
You were checking out your own. What the
You're
fuck?
like,
You
oh,
guys
boy.
never did that? I mean,
No!
you never did
Frank.
that?
Bobby, you ever do that?
Fuck no.
That's
Look
weird.
at him. He looks
I
like
tried it once, and it was when I had a lot of hair, and I felt so ashamed of myself. I did that Jodie Foster thing where in that movie where she got banged against the pinball machine, and I just
Right.
cut it all off afterwards.
Oh, God.
See?
I thought you meant afterwards she was in the shower crying. I would have done that part. That scene.
Well, I did that too.
Frank, were you
That
just like
movie has
looking
so many
down?
hot scenes.
Frank, were you just looking down at your own dick in the mirror and be like, I wish that was my dick? And like, oh, wait, yes, it is.
there was some envy there. I have to admit, I did have envy. I had
Who's
dick
that
envy.
lucky camper? And then you don't realize you put your hand on your
Yeah.
mouth and you just came in it. And,
I mean, here's the one that I should have been looking at. The nun from the Lost in the 60s over there.
Nun?
And jerking off to that.
what?
Bobby, he looks like a nun.
Oh, now you know
lost
my
in the
name. You don't
60s.
fucking introduce me at the start of the show, but you want
Oh, I
to
didn't
throw
introduce
shots,
him.
Frank?
I was going to
sorry.
bring that up.
Oh
We
my
got to you
God.
jerking off looking in the
Oh
mirror
my
before you said
God.
my goddamn name.
I was so fascinated looking at you. I
No,
forgot
you were
to
reading
say
your stupid cue
and
card.
co-host
you
from
fucking
the-
forgot.
from the Pat Oates Show, Mr. Bobby Tamburo.
You don't do it 4 minutes in.
Well, I'm building.
Thank God he got to it. I was in suspense. I was like, who's that guy?
And I thought I nailed it.
No. From the weightlifting and the jokes, it's Peter Angelo. And with him from the backs,
I'm
O'Brien,
Stephen Hawking.
no,
All right,
I jerked off in the mirror.
That's clearly a guy who's never heard of the show before. The
Yes,
Bax
I-
O show. Yeah.
No, I just don't have memory. I just
You
don't
have heard of
any
the show
memory.
because I've told you about it every time I was on it. You're just old.
I know. I
Bobby, I'm
listen.
happy you're here.
Thanks, Pat.
I don't know why you're a nun.
Me neither.
Yeah, it is.
Frank, why is he a nun?
Frank's having a
You
stroke.
think I know? I mean,
You
I
said
mean,
it.
I was so fascinated by looking at him, brought back a lot of memories for me, and I forgot to introduce him.
No, why did you think he's
But
a
what
nun?
about that says none?
Why do I look at him? He looks like an Iranian nun lost in the 60s.
The fuck's an
somewhere.
Iranian nun?
As
I
a
was gonna
Catholic, I
say,
can tell
it
you
does-
that's a no-go.
It does look very much like one of those Osama bin Laden videos before
Yeah.
they give messages to people. You got to watch his eye blinks, make sure he's not giving messages to the
Frank's so
No.
old he doesn't know they're called Muslims.
right.
Those Iranian nun things. They wear the headdresses from Iran.
Why
Yeah,
do I
it
only
does
see
look
their
like
eyes?
that you stood next to a guy who was a reporter and you're about to cut his head off. You do have that look.
Well, don't talk shit about our government,
It's a good look though. So I'm happy that the
But-
holy and honorable nun Tamburo could be here with us. We appreciate it.
But ISIS is trying to like up their PR game. She was like, use a fun background. They won't care about the killing as much.
We need the Rick and Morty fan base.
Pickle Rick, infidel, bam.
The shitty camera, you just don't get any graphics whatsoever because it stops picking up halfway through the beheading.
I wonder how many accounts ISIS has on Zoom. Like they must have so many. There's the Zoom room. Oh, we are here. We're not here. You just start
Yeah.
cutting off heads. That's fun.
Octo, I can't hear you. I can't. You need to push unmute. No, that's the wrong button. Push unmute. No, nobody can hear you.
Just I'm gonna put a new background of virgin boys, and I'm gonna fuck when I die.
Oh, you're going to fly a plane. You can't even unmute your Zoom. Oh, wait, that's okay. You don't have to fly that well anyway.
Yeah, you have to just get it up like Frank does in front of the mirror.
It's gonna be 5 squares of people's just beards. Just
Whoa, look at that hair. Nice beard. Nice growth.
Can you hear me
Every-
now? There's in there too.
Every so often, a girl pops in by accident. They're like, show boobs, show boobs.
Cover your face, show boobs.
show ankle, show ankle.
Ooh, infidel. By everyone watching, if you could do the Frank challenge, please jerk off to yourself in front of a mirror and then send that to Bobby Tamburo so he can just make a montage of it for the next show.
Yeah.
No faces, please.
We're looking at you, Becky.
I don't think she has editing. But wonderful. You know what? I think we're gonna do something we never do. Frank, because you seem like you're not really with it today, we're gonna have you lead off with your story.
It's an honor. It's an honor to be a first. I really appreciate that, Pat.
Just get to the
And
story.
let's give it a try. All right. Not a prank tonight. We're telling a story. I was on a TV show 20 years ago. I get a phone call from somebody I know, this woman, and she's a producer of Food 911. It was a top-rated show on the Food Network with Tyler Florence as the chef host, as you can see behind me. She calls up and says, we want to end the season with a bang. We want to interview you, since you are kind of large, and talk about all the dietetic desserts you eat. I said, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I could do that. And she says, but Food Network wants to see a tape of you before we do it. So she comes over with a crew, interviews me, just having fun. She gets back to me and says, Food Network said that the show is not a comedy hour. It's about food. So Tyler has decided that he wants to come over to your house and teach you how to make raviolis. I said, fine, let's have some fun. So they came over, 10 people in the crew, took 10 hours to shoot a half hour. It's a lot of fun, a lot of jokes, a lot of stories were told. About 3
Are
weeks
they better
later,
than this story?
excuse me?
Are those
Is there
stories
an
better
end?
than this?
So what happens is that she sends me a tape of the show. I didn't hear you.
I know.
Okay.
Go ahead. Make your
Keep going.
ravioli.
Keep going.
She sends me a tape of the show, and I look at it. All the jokes are gone. I call her up. I said, what the hell happened? You took all the humor out of the show. She said, Frank, it's not the Frank Mugallo show. It's Tyler Florence, Food 911. Okay. They put it on the air. It was a big hit. I got about 100 phone calls. I had a public phone landline. And they started having Frankie ravioli stories and parties because of
Who
the
did?
way we presented ourselves. It was a lot of fun.
Who had these
Anyway,
parties?
So it was
Why
a
can't he hear me?
Frank, stop. Who
What?
had these parties?
Yeah, who fucking had Frankie
Oh,
ravioli?
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm glad. Bobby, I'm glad you asked that question.
I fucking asked it 3 times.
Pat, I'm glad you chimed in too.
Did you mute
And
me?
asked the same
Am I
question.
muted?
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the question was who was having these Frankie ravioli parties?
Yeah,
It
you're
was the
not mistaken.
following season, and they were going to somebody's house to teach them how to cook something. And they all had Frankie raviolis parties from the previous. The people that
Who
would
are
go,
the
the
people?
houses that they went to teach
Black
them how to
people?
cook something. What?
You mean black? Are you being racist?
I didn't say black people. I
You're
said
like
the
the
people that they were
people.
cooking for.
You know,
was all over the
those
country.
people.
It was
Those
all over the
people.
country. You know, I'm ending this conversation about who had these fucking parties. I don't care.
We
need to know.
care. We don't know what's going
I
on.
want to know
Frank,
about the party. Who had the party?
I think I've got it, Frank. Can I
People from
try
the
to
sh-
explain and you tell me if I'm right?
Bobby, please
So
explain it.
you were on the show. Then
Right.
the show had another season, and the show
Right.
would go to participants' houses and cook meals, and
Right.
you would come along and throw a Frankie ravioli
Ah,
party.
fucking wrong. What
no.
happened?
That's the way I took
No,
it.
no.
I was like,
what
there's no
happened-
way that's
the,
it. You didn't
the
say any of
town that
shit.
they went to all over the country, and they were visiting somebody that was going to be on the show like I was and teach them how to cook something. They all had Frankie ravioli parties when they showed up.
Just go ahead.
Cast and crew.
Forget it. Forget it, Pete.
Excuse me?
Just let them. So
Who do I look
anyway,
at?
they
Keep going,
had
Frank.
Frankie ravioli parties.
Okay. So here's what I'm getting at. Okay. What I'm getting at is that I put it on YouTube, right? And so it got a lot of views. It's on YouTube. And then 2 weeks ago, I get an email from YouTube telling me they took it off because there's copyrights that I was infringing. And if I ever did it again, they're kicking me off YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean,
you stole.
I think that's low. That's low life.
Well, I mean, you did.
It was my
steal
sweat
intellectual
into that
property.
show. I mean, look how I was sweating there. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, it
You
was
were
a
sweating
great
because you were
half,
standing
it was
up.
a great half hour of food making. I mean, it was unbelievable.
You don't see me recording this piece of shit story and putting it back up on YouTube.
I
wouldn't do
am.
that to you.
All right, so who is the piece
Before
of
you
shit?
throw the options, Frank, I need to know
I
what
also
is
have
a
questions.
ravioli party? I feel like we never.
It
explained
sounds like
what
a
Frankie-
bukkake party.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
the only
Just
part-
jerk
Stare
it off
at
in the
yourself
mirror.
in
That's
a
what
mirror
it
and throw
is.
ravioli.
What's a Frankie ravioli party?
A Frankie ravioli party is that they would serve raviolis and have fun.
That's just called being Italian.
That's
I've been having ravioli parties with my family for years.
No one called it that.
All right, so who's the piece of shit? Is it the producer that edited out the show where all the stuff that I did was gone? Is it Food Network for doing that? Is it YouTube who took it off from public viewing? We live in America. We can show things like that. Or is it me for telling the story?
Pete,
So who's the
Pete,
piece
go
of shit?
first.
It is 100% you, Frank.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. You're like, this thing that I did not create, that someone else did. I put it on my channel as if I made it. And then you got mad. They were like, fuck you. You're lucky we let you keep it up that long.
They spent 10 hours at your house. You know what
10
that cost
hours.
them to make
I
a
had the
stupid
goddamn
party?
crew. I set them up with a putting contest.
It was your house. You were the most comfortable person there. You did technically the least amount of work.
You know how much it cost them to do a half hour of stupid Frank ravioli party? 10 hours with a crew that big?
And that show's aired 10 times in the first 2 years.
Yeah. Probably at 3 a.m.
Frank, you look like Tim Allen when he was turning into the Santa Claus.
Which part?
when he first got fat and the beard was a little bit.
Did you make any money off that show?
No.
Why were you on the show? Like
I knew the producer.
Because they need a big bang.
They wanted a big bang at the end of the year.
Oh, Frank was like, "You want a big bang? Hang on, let me get my mirror."
Hey, we'll get Guy Fieri. Why would we get him? We can get this guy named Frank that no one knows.
That's right.
Here's the backstory. Frank was dressed up as a Muslim guy and convinced this woman he was a prince. And she was like, well, he must be a pretty good entertainer if he was able to get me. And he's a good guy because I threw myself at him and he wouldn't bang me.
Yeah, Bobby just wrapped up every other story Frank's ever told on here into one little Steve, who's the piece of shit?
I would say Frank for uploading copyrighted material. Sorry, Frank.
Well, you're coming from a technical point of view. I could see that.
I'm coming from a very legal standpoint, and someone
Well,
who
legal.
cares about copyright material.
Frank, I don't give a shit about copyright, and I still think you were fucking wrong.
I appreciate that.
Bobby.
I always say Frank's is the piece of shit. And he did not do a good job telling this story. I'm still convinced that the four of us don't know exactly what happened or what a Frankie ravioli party is.
You can buy the DVD.
However, it's the producer who cut out the funny stuff. She
Right.
came to you because she wanted you. It may have been some other show, but she came to you for your talents, and then she took away your shine, and you weren't even getting paid for it. She's the piece of shit.
Yeah.
Bobby, I'm going to
Thank you.
disagree before I get into my answer. I'm going to disagree because from a real standpoint right here, when I was on that show where I pretended my mom was dead for $50 on Extreme Cheapskates, yeah, I was there for a couple hours. And yeah, we were supposed to just roll, and I was being very funny. And there's a ton of shit on there supposed to be fun. I knew they were going to cut it. I was having fun because I was on a show about a woman pretending she went through people's obituaries. They weren't going to let me be silly and fun. I was supposed to be sad. I was just doing that because we were just rolling the camera. Frank knew going in, this was about Tyler Florence going to his home to make raviolis with a fat person. That's all it was about. It wasn't the Frank Mergallo show. I know Tyler's pain. I've tried to control Frank every fucking week. And I can't do it. Tyler Florence and a crew of 10 people are trying to shut him the fuck down as he's got. Listen to him. I set up golf courses in my house. What the fuck are you doing? Make ravioli. They
Look
called
at
it
the
Frankie
picture.
ravioli party, and they're like, we're not calling it that. We've never called it that. We would get Emerald to do that. He's way better. Why did they call you for the season finale? That makes no sense.
Picture.
I don't
That's
know.
Look at the picture. You want that guy to be funny. Your whole hope is that he spills raviolis on himself. If you
No,
look at
you're
that
hoping
picture.
he's old.
That's the
and he's
big
Italian.
bang of the show.
Because it's not comedy on there.
Yeah, like what jokes did
Bobby
they
Flay's
cut?
like trying to rape that Gianna lady, and that's all that show is. And they're doing this guy is, obviously gay, but not come out of the closet, and he's like hoping Frank will just make Stromboli jokes about his penis. But that's it. They wanted Frank to be in there for 2 fucking seconds. They're like, look at us helping an old person. Look at this.
I wasn't old there. It's 20
Frank,
years
you were
ago.
old.
Yeah, but
Frank,
you're
you look like
fucking
Kenny
super
Rogers
old now, so you're old then.
Yeah, you're old as
Well,
fuck now.
Could I put my 2 cents into it?
No.
We got your 5 cents already, and it was real long. and
Bobby,
didn't go-
You really believe it's the producers and not Frank?
I do. I think
Frank's a
you
nightmare
hire
to work
Frank,
with.
you know what you're getting. They hired the guy who's going to build a putting green in his house. They
Did
wanted
they
the
hire him?
entertainment.
But he said some lady just knew him, so they weren't
They
like.
didn't hire him.
I got this
He
guy
didn't
for his
make a
comedy.
dime.
Listen, as a producer, if I went somewhere and they were like, "Hey, we built you a putting green," and this guy's going to just try to be funny the whole time, I'd be like, "This is a pretty dope gig." You think
What
you
was
could
this?
cook us some
Frank, what was your
raviolis?
putting green? A coffee cup?
No, I don't. Probably an ashtray. In those days, it was an ashtray.
They
I
called
used to
it the
smoke cigars
Mergallo
then,
Open,
so.
and we all played. Everyone called it the Mergallo Open. They just went there and played. No blacks were allowed. It was great.
The way it was intended.
Well, what kind of ravioli did you make?
We did a spinach cheese ravioli. We did a crab ravioli, and then we did a ragu ravioli with beef in it. In fact,
Which one
They
is
cou-
featured at the Frank ravioli parties?
I'm sorry.
Which one is featured at the Frankie ravioli parties?
All of them.
You don't have to yell back.
I do think Peter brings up a good point though, where he was like, "What were the jokes?" Because if the joke was like, "You want some sausage ravioli,"
That's
and then
all
you had
it
the
was. That's
sausage
like
on your
holding a
dick, then yeah, they
Hey,
should
hey,
cut
you
it
want
out.
sausage with that ravioli? Hey,
Got any Italian in you? Want some? Like he's walking around trying to fuck everybody.
Every
you
time,
want some
every time
Italian
they,
in you? Come
every
over
time they
here.
put something in the ravioli, Frank's just making stuffing jokes.
So anyway, 4 million in the or 4 in the seats and 6 million in the ashtray. Anyway, back to this ravioli sauce.
Yeah. What I was going to say, first of all, Tyler was a really nice guy. He got a lot of phone calls from women that were looking to hook up with him. Number one,
So they
he had
thought
a
they
cell
were.
phone.
So you were the way through.
No,
That's what the ravioli party is. It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
I
swinger
like
thing
that.
where Tyler Florence just runs a train on bitches.
And the show ended with a couple of my friends there eating the raviolis with him. It was nice. It was a nice time.
Did you get any to eat the raviolis or no?
Did I what?
Did you get to eat any of the raviolis?
They were,
yourself,
yes,
or-
I ate them all.
Look,
at
he's
me.
got
What do you
tits
think
wet
I
in the
did?
photo. Of course he did.
You just told me you
Yeah, I had
shared
to
them with
do
all
it.
the other guys were eating them with him.
Yeah,
We
you said
all
your
were.
friends.
I mean, we made a lot. We made a lot of raviolis.
Why
lot of
didn't you
different
sit with your
sauces.
friends?
Frank, can you move your head to the right for me?
This way?
Yeah, I just want to see where his hand is because I have another theory. Maybe he was like to his producer, "Hey, do you know a slightly chubby guy maybe likes to party?" And she just got the wrong idea of party. And he was like, "We're over here putting. He hasn't let me fuck him once."
Yeah, you have like a Grizzly Adams look, but he's like tame and in his home. Like maybe
Look, yeah, he does have a.
Grizzly Adams, the golden years.
That must have been a nightmare. Was Tyler Florence there for the whole 10 hours?
Yeah.
Did he have a trailer set up or did he use your bedroom?
No,
as his room?
no, he was on my couch. No, he was a nice guy. Nice guy,
You
down
keep
to
asking
earth.
to move to the bed.
I mean, he wasn't the
get
superstar
more
that he
comfortable.
became.
Well, he was
Yeah, he was
already a
young.
very accomplished chef then.
Yeah, he was out of San Francisco. I mean, he had the show for about 3-4 years before, and very successful.
Pete, is Tyler Florence hot?
To me, no.
You're the only one that likes dudes here.
Yeah, to me, no. I can tell you he's
Who's
a
hotter,
handsome
him or
guy, but he's
Frank?
not hot to me.
Young Frank or him? Who's hotter?
We're still calling that young Frank.
It's younger.
Yeah,
It's
60-year-old
time machine,
Frank.
Frank.
60-year-old Frank.
No.
You're like the
Tyler.
Wilford Brimley of ravioli parties. You never age.
It's the right thing to do in the ravioli to do it. Fucking yeah, you do have a Brimley look.
Frank had seen 4 major wars at that point in his lifetime. He'd been
I'll-
through a lot.
I'll guarantee you, Frank at one point pointed to like the black cameraman and goes, "I didn't know we were making eggplant," and they're like, "All right."
We're gonna cut that.
Not falling for that joke.
You did it. Ravioli parties is just you guys punching women and going, "We're Italian." Woo! I wanted. Okay, I already did one challenge. This is gonna be a lot of challenges. Everyone out there, take a picture of your Frankie ravioli party and send it to us. Get your friends together. Let's all have a Frankie ravioli party. Fuck, Frank, you're obviously the piece of shit in this, but the bigger piece of shit. No, but you're not the piece of shit. You're a piece of shit in this because just the way you told it. I believe you that I know you're on the show. I know all the things. They just told you it was for a big bang. They couldn't get anyone else. It's the Food Network. They have so many fucking people that they could go to. At that time, they could. And they went. They just said they were hoping that you were just some old sweet man, and you were just dirty, nasty man telling jokes that couldn't be put on the air. You probably swore.
You know,
Say the N-word?
I signed a disclaimer, but I'm going to say something here.
Oh God, they're gonna come for us.
Oh no.
Dom,
He's gonna say something here.
Steve, log out now. It's not too late.
Dom DeLuise bailed out.
Why would you sign the Dom DeLuise disclaimer?
He
You
bailed
can't let-
out. Well, no, I mean, I'm not
He's
supposed
dead. He's
to
not coming
talk
for us.
about what happened with the show.
All right. Well, Frank,
I mean, I was
neither am I.
originally the replacement for Dom DeLuise.
Frank, I've talked about me being on Extreme Cheesecake as a fraud forever, and I signed a no waiver, and I got paid.
And they took you off YouTube. Fuck them. Spill
I
all
have it
the
on
tea.
YouTube, so
Thank
I
you.
didn't download it myself. I just shared
Yeah.
their video.
Could I vote in this?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Pat, you're the piece of shit.
Yeah,
You took my story and you made it into your story on TLC.
Have you
whatever
met
else it's
Pat?
called.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You know, Pat, all he wanted to do was come on here so he can ask you to come over and program his VCR later, and you totally fucked up his story.
What
I
time?
could
it
only
is?
wish.
Always 12:12. I don't know what time it is.
Why is it blinking?
I'm still. So the producer just knew you. You just happen to know the producer. and they're
Yeah,
like,
and in fact, if you listen to the show, recently I talked about being on the Saturday Night Live and what happened with that episode.
oh, the story's all like this because it's gonna keep me from.
She was the segment producer on that show before she went to the Food Network. And she's still at the Food Network.
They should have
She's
you
done
back.
every show on there.
Frank, you're right. I was wrong for doing that. And in all honesty, it's not my fault. I shouldn't talk about this, but I signed a waiver. You weren't supposed to be on this show. Peter DeLuise was supposed to be on this show, and we couldn't get him because I think he's dead. So,
Despite looking significantly younger than you in that photo.
Peter DeLuise.
What DeLuise? What DeLuise was going to be on the show?
It was a joke, Frank. Let's just.
Dom. He's been dead for 11 years, but it was still
Right.
going to be Dom.
I went with Peter, his son.
That's his son. Yeah.
Peter DeLuise. Frank, turn up your volume.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We're 26 minutes into the
Could you
episode. And we just
test?
came to that
Could you give me a
conclusion.
testing 1, 2, 3?
I can mute you.
All of us.
Testing.
Test.
That's better.
Testing.
Thank you.
6 Dr. Seuss books won't be published anymore because they portray people in hurtful and wrong ways. 6 Dr. Seuss books will no longer be published anymore because they're hurtful and wrong. Business that preserves the author's legacy said. The titles are And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McElliot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Amistad and Other Fun Boats, Scrambled Egg Super, and The Cat's Quizzer. One of those I
Mein
made. In a statement, Dr. Seuss Enterprises said it made the decision after consulting educators and reviewing its catalog. Ceasing sales of these books is the only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families, it said. The announcement was made Tuesday, the birthday of the famed children's book author. Seuss, born Theodore Seuss Geisel, is one of the best-known authors in the world, the man behind the beloved classics like The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, among others. Over 650 million copies of his books have been sold worldwide. Dr. Seuss had a long history of publishing racist and anti-Semitic work, spanning back to the 1920s when he was a student at Dartmouth College. There, Dr. Seuss once drew black boxers as gorillas and perpetrated Jewish stereotypes by portraying Jewish characters as financially stingy, according to a study published in the journal Research on Diversity in Youth Literature. That study, published 2019, examined 50 books by Dr. Seuss and found 43 out of the 45 characters of color had characteristics aligning with the definition of Orientalism, which is my new favorite word. The 2 African characters, the study said, both had anti-black characteristics. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Okay, it's Dr. Seuss. Everybody, if we go back into history, we're going to find out everybody when Frank was a child was racist. That's just how the world worked. It's fine. It's what it was. But by pulling this stuff now, all we're doing with this bullshit is always drawing more attention. Every time we say, let's look back at this and say this, you're pointing at, it's like people are lifeguards for racist shit. They're just looking for it and digging it up. Is it doctors who's writing it or the people that is pulling it? The New York public libraries are all keeping it in there. Most libraries have said they've been standing firm because, they've got Mark Twain and he was super racist. They keep all this stuff. Pete, let me do my thing, and then, or is it Orientals? Why not keep that name? That's a great name. If I had an Oriental rug place, I would just sell wigs for Chinese people. That's what I would sell, not rugs. It'd be great. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Bobby, you can go first.
It's Dr. Seuss. Not for writing it. Dr. Seuss is just a horrible author. All of his books are annoying. Like, you can't just make up words. Like, when did that just become okay? Oh, I can't come up with a rhyme. Let me just make up some bullshit. Fuck you, Dr. Seuss.
He's like the first mumble rapper.
Yeah, I remember being 4 years old reading Green Eggs and Ham and being like, this is going to be long and annoying, and that dude's going to end up eating green eggs and ham and liking it. And sure enough, there's the book. That's a simple.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I blame Dr. Seuss for the Cat in the Hat movie, which gave me anxiety as a kid. Can you imagine how terrifying that would be? A cat just comes in and fucks up your house while your mom's not home. Dr. Seuss
Comes in and fucks your mom while nobody else is home.
Would he fuck her in the butt? Would he fuck her in a rut?
Yeah, exactly.
Would he spit on her with his gland? Would he jerk off with his hand?
You know, we had an argument about this morning, and I feel the same way you do, Pat. It's like you're bringing more attention to something that doesn't need to have attention brought to it. Books go out of print all the time, and nobody's banning the book. They're just not printing anymore.
Yeah.
Other than, I think I saw it on Mulberry Street, who ever heard of all the other fucking books there? I don't remember hearing about Green Eggs and Ham and The Cat in the Hat and Horton Hears a Who. That was the only 3 books that I really am familiar with Dr. Seuss. But who fucking cares?
And the classic one fish, two fish, black fish. Get out of my lawn.
No, I think it's one fish, two fish, racist, Seussist. I think.
Who's this? So, Steve, who's the piece of shit?
I think people bringing attention to it are pieces of shit. It's like, leave it fucking be. Everybody's got to be offended by something. And we're offending somebody's nostalgia now. Oh, that book, you can't do that to Dr. Seuss. Again, really? How many of those books, other than that Mulberry Street one, do you remember reading? I don't remember reading any of them except that one.
And now people are going to look for the books. That's how the world works. When you say someone does something fucked up and you can't have it, they're all over the place now. They're going.
They're already being sold on eBay for hundreds of dollars for mint condition, books of whatever that was scrambled egg one you read, or that was the one you made up, right?
Yes. No, yeah, that was that, not the Amistad one. That was.
But nobody, these people, they come out and they're like, oh my God, this is my beloved Dr. Seuss. I'm like, you don't even fucking know what you're defending. You don't even know what you're reading. You read some of the things that were depicted in those books. Did you read all of those? The ones that were deemed offensive?
No one read the Oriental books.
No, I'm talking about the article. Did the article mention the specific things that were shown in those books that were questionable?
Yeah, in the article it said that whenever he drew black people, he made them gorillas.
He made them gorillas, and then there's one in the Mulberry Street one where there's a white guy whipping a black guy.
Yeah.
Right on
but he wasn't moving.
Okay.
To be fair,
what did you say?
He wasn't moving, so it's like that's what you do. Speaking of whipping black people, Frank, what do you think?
It's simple. I mean, whoever started this ridiculous campaign against Dr. Seuss, I mean, what the hell is going on? You put a spotlight on this character, and then he's going to get all the attention. And what's going to happen? People are going to come to the right side, to the left side, to the middle. Leave it alone. If people want to read it or see it, let them go do it. But whoever started this campaign is a piece of shit. Plus, who's next? Al Jolson? I mean, what the hell is going on?
Hopefully Raffi with his rhyming bullshit.
But you think about it
next.
On the part of Seuss Enterprises, they just sold a shitload of books at retail price. Notwithstanding the guys who took them selling them on eBay secondhand, but it's a great marketing ploy. Same with Hasbro with Mr. Potato Head. Let's just call it Potato Head and see what happens. They didn't fucking change anything. It's still either a Mr. Potato Head or a Mrs. Potato Head. You just get to decide what it's going to be out of the box.
And you could do that before. When you bought two of them, you could switch it up anyway.
But do you know how many people went out and bought fucking Mr. Potato Heads thinking that was going to be, oh my God, this is the end of it. And then, 3 days later, they say, no, that's not what we were talking about. We're not going to change anything.
Yeah, I just drew dicks on mine.
You should.
That's it.
That's exactly what a Mr. Potato Head is for. Yeah. Drawing dicks on. But it's a good marketing point. It's like New Coke. You remember New Coke?
Yes.
Yeah.
When they come out with New Coke and they're like, oh,
Pepsi
nobody likes
Clear.
the New Coke. Then they're like, we're bringing back the classic Coke. It was the same shit. They had that plan all along.
Pete, who's a piece of shit?
Whoever was running those focus groups to figure out if the books were racist, that they needed fucking experts to be like, I don't know, it's kind of iffy. That guy looks like a monkey.
Those eyes are a little too slanty for European.
He looks like he's gonna open them just a little bit. Like
I think the one book that bothered me was Chinky Chinky Bang Bang. That was the one that bothered me the most.
Also, piece of shit is me for not knowing these books of amazing comedy existed.
I did not know any. I did not know Dr. Seuss drew gorillas and
me either.
Stingy.
I thought they were just like weird monsters and like like that with weird instruments, like.
Because that's
so
what
did
they
Dr.
are,
Seuss.
Pete. They're not real. Like when people watch Star Wars, they go, "That's supposed to be Chinese." Like it's space. We don't know anything else. It's hard to make up your own race. It's a weird thing to do. So you fucking borrow.
I mean, he made up his own words. He can make up his own race.
Yeah, but that's all. Bobby made the best point. Those books suck. Okay,
they do.
They're shit books. I get why they're popular because I've been a parent. Steve's been a parent. You're tired of reading the stupid books. Reading dumb things like that is fun for you too. You can do voices with it. You say silly things. It means nothing. It's an easy book to get through, and you have fun reading it. But as a kid, I didn't like walk away with like a lesson or memories from fucking green eggs and ham. Who gives a
I'm
fuck?
glad you said that because that's my other thing I forgot. All the people who are like, "Oh, the places you'll go inspired my life. It made me who I am today." And you're like, "Thanks. Can I just have my coffee now?"
Yeah.
Like it's terrible people who like Dr. Seuss.
I read one of the
fucking
places
walk-
we go, and now I get to go on Instagram and tell people I'm gonna travel someday. That's
Yeah.
what I did.
I'm gonna post fake pictures.
And while we're at it, Eric Carle is a shitty artist too.
Yeah,
The
that was a
Hungry
good
Caterpillar
drawing. He
thing?
didn't even color it all in.
He's got a whole fucking museum up here in Amherst dedicated to him. He's still alive. He's worth like $90 million. For what? For a blotched piece of shit artwork? He didn't even write any of the stories. Those were somebody else's writings.
He
just
drew the racist monkeys.
He did. He did the brown bear. The
Yeah,
brown bear
all
looked
Sue
pretty-
said was, "Hey, send me some gorillas boxing," and he goes, "Here's one." He goes, "That's George Foreman." They give me that.
So that guy can't draw a tree to save his life. It's just like a stick with a pom pom on it. Fuck
Right.
that guy.
And everybody has Jimmy Neutron swirl hair. Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, those books are shit. Everything's shit. But yeah,
I
at the
feel
end
like
of the
they
day-
could have they could have very easily just been like, "Hey, there's some fucked up shit in those like 6 books no one buys. Let's stop printing them, but like not make a giant fucking deal out of it."
Here's who the piece of shit is: Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump did not win and Biden won. So if Trump won, these psychopaths would still be going after him and yelling and not going, "What do we do now? My whole identity was being mad at Trump. I don't know what to do. And then Biden's sleepy and weird. And I don't really want to defend him. So I got to find some outrage. Where do I find it?" And they're just literally digging through these people for 4 years. Their whole identity was saying this person was racist, this person was that. And yeah, is he? Yeah, of course he is. But it's one of these things where it's just like they need to be able to scream something because without it, they're not popular. They'd have no Twitter friends. They have no likes, whatever. So they're like, let's just dig and dig. So they find Dr. Seuss. It's some fat gremlin woman, and she puts it up there. Then all the things that want to fuck her because her picture looks better than it is. They're like, yeah, we're in too. Seuss is racist. But who cares?
Yeah, but a lot of
Get together, they have Frankie ravioli parties, and they talk about this.
I think a lot of companies now there are just trying to get ahead of those groups. Like they're almost like digging through their own shit and be like, "What are they gonna get us on? What are they gonna get us on? What are they gonna get us on? Oh fuck, racist monkey in Dr. Seuss. Let's pull it before they fucking
You start
find
doing
us."
apologies, like
Well, they're doing like preemptive, like before someone like throws a fit about this. Let's fucking get it. And make a big deal and be
Pfizer,
like,
we used to make only white water fountains, and we're sorry. We didn't mean to do it.
You're absolutely right, Pete. That was they started doing that last year when the Aunt Jemima, when they and
Which is
all these
also
other
stupid.
companies started jumping on and go, let's change our logo before they start coming after us. Even the people at Betty Crocker are like, is she black or white? I can't remember, but you know what? Let's change the name anyway.
What's racist about?
"She just made her hot."
No, what's racist about it?
Have you ever been to Canada?
No.
What's racist about what?
Yes,
Aunt Jemima.
Twice. Sorry.
Did you see a lot of people who look like Aunt Jemima harvesting the syrup?
I didn't see anyone harvesting.
I mean,
Oh,
we don't see
just
them.
saying.
They keep
That's
them
where
in-
syrup comes
It
from.
was in all the
I
brothels.
don't know. The local sugar house around here has got some fat redneck tapping a tree and probably fucking a goat in the back of the
Okay,
shed.
did you ever see Tony the Tiger make cereal? That's a stupid thing. It's not a real person. It's a black woman serving me food. That's awesome. You go if you go to someone's home and they're like, "We got Bessie and she makes chicken," you're like, "Yay! I love this." You don't want some white woman coming out. If a black she's sweet on the inside and she makes your morning good. That's lovely. Aunt Jemima. I've never met a Jemima. That name sounds a little racist, but that's fine. I think my dad called women Jemimas a bit because it seemed like a good racist term. But yeah, Aunt Jemima wasn't racist to me. Mrs. Butterworth wasn't racist. It was just that's what they came in. If
Did they
syrup
cancel
was
Miss Butterworth
white,
too?
they'd be white. Syrup isn't white. It was a glass
Frank, if you-
bottle.
Frank, if you had a Polish woman show up to one of them ravioli parties, what would you do?
Kick her out.
Kabasi. I would take out my kabasi
Isn't
Think
it
we're-
and hit
pasta?
her over the head. Get the hell out of my party, lady.
You throw her out?
And yeah,
You-
kabasi lady.
Do you know any Polish jokes? Because you're that age.
Do I? Yeah.
How much time do you have?
Just
You
tell
know
us
what?
one.
I'll tell you one. Okay. No, that's
Oh, that's Steve, tell us one.
it's
The
racist.
battle that I'm watching in your mind, Frank, is ridiculous.
I know. Which one?
No,
Which
Frankie
one should I
knew.
say?
They're both brain
Gee,
dead.
all right. Jesus Christ is in Poland. He's looking down at 2 million Polacks. And he says, act stupid until I come back. Okay. That joke was from
That was the joke?
1950 something. Yeah.
The punchline was invented in 66, apparently.
I'm offended by that.
Are you Polish?
No, I'm German.
He's a comedian. He's offended by that joke. Frank, I'm pretty sure that joke is more told like, do you know why Jesus Christ never came back? Well, when he left, he said, everyone act like, you're stupid till I come back. And Poland never stopped. It's got to be something in that effect where there's actually you're just like, Polacks were down there. And Jesus is like, stupid. You're over.
I think it was supposed to be on Good Friday. He's talking to these in Poland, something like that. I don't remember. I mean, I'm talking about 70 years ago.
I know.
Frank, let me help you out. Go to the Leather Special by Amy Schumer and just put Polish back into the jokes.
He's going to jerk off to that in the mirror because his body looks just like Amy Schumer's.
I love mayo.
That's not fair to Frank.
Yeah, how come? Why isn't it racist that Amy Schumer is mayonnaise? Why is she the Aunt Jemima of mayonnaise now?
Because when I think mayonnaise, that's what I think. That's what I picture
if
eating.
Mayonnaise was a human, it's Amy Schumer, like 100%.
To be honest, the only problem with that is I like mayonnaise, and I think she's tainting it.
I'd put her on a sandwich.
She's ruining mayonnaise for me. Get her out of there. Cancel mayonnaise.
She ruined Hellman's. You could have Miracle Whip.
Ah,
that is
I think
garbage.
we all missed the real
never.
issue here, which is the heavy anti-environment tones in the Giving Tree. Like Dr. Seuss is gone, but we're gonna let that happen. The whole book's about chopping down a tree. Where's Greta Thunberg?
She must hate George Washington too. Fuck that guy. All right, let's get one more dumb story in. There's this thing here. They want to change. Health experts push to swap the term breast milk with chest milk to be more inclusive. Some health experts are asking. I can feel Frank getting fired over this one. All right. Some health experts are asking to substitute the term chest milk or human milk for breast milk in order to be more inclusive to transgender and non-binary parents. UK health officials officially released a statement instructing nurses at 2 hospitals to stop saying breastfeeding and breast milk and instead use more gender-inclusive phrases. I can read on, but there's no fucking point. What? This is almost like the last story. All right, well, just go through the thing. Who's the piece of shit? Is it people that don't think about transgender people trying to fake breastfeed babies? Is it the people that are saying like we have to protect everyone and make everyone inclusive into all these things? Words are what hurt. Like you wouldn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Just feed your fucking baby and shut up. Is it the people that are thinking this is stupid and ridiculous? Is it hospitals are fucking buying into this and literally turning to their nurses and doctors and saying, while you're ready to save lives or make sure a baby's born, think about your words. Like, are you fucking kidding me? People are dying all the fucking time. Who's the piece of shit in this? Steve, please go first.
There'll be a lot of hype. I tend to believe, we were just talking about what you said about the Dr. Seuss thing. If you're out there looking to be offended by shit, then you're out there looking to be offended by shit. These hospitals start saying chest feeding. If that wasn't a news story, how long would it take for that term to get over here? You said it was in the UK, right?
Yeah, but it's already coming over here.
No, but I mean, you know how like we call up in New England they call them grinders, in New Jersey they call them subs, and in New York State they call them hoagies. It's kind of like the same thing. Like we call it breastfeeding, they call it chest feeding. Big deal. Let it fucking be. Who gives a shit? Everybody kind of knows what it is, right?
We don't, Steve. Because what if I turn into a person named Sally and I want to have a baby? You see, you tell me I'm supposed to have tits. I'll cry.
I've seen this in action. It's like a brassiere. It's a bra, and it's got a boob in it, and you fill it with somebody else's breast milk. It's almost
like when the clowns used to have the flour and it squirted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they turned that into tits.
The baby latches on
Frank
to
doing
these
with his
prosthetic tits. So you could be a guy and you can have the tit hanging out and have the baby. It's all about the bonding for the baby. It doesn't matter if it's mom or it's real breast milk. Put formula in there.
So who's the piece of shit then?
Every fucking person involved in this whole thing.
Yes,
From
it's
the
all-
person wearing a
Yeah.
prosthetic fucking tit to the person getting offended by any of it, and for anybody even bringing this up.
Thanks. I need a story after Frank's ravioli.
No, it's all right. I'm really getting tired of people making controversies out of shit that don't need to be
That's
made controversies out of.
Because we
It's
don't.
fucking
Everybody
ridiculous.
needs news every 2 seconds now, so they need to have something
Yeah.
to get attention. It's just.
This is also
Go ahead, Pete.
this is literally the first that I've heard that one.
Right.
But it's like if someone says it's chest feeding, it's like, all right, whatever, chest feeding. Because like I have trans friends, I've never heard this as being one of the issues they're worried about. Is like what they call it. Because technically, we all do have breasts. Some of us have, even as men, even some of us have bigger ones than others. But like breastfeeding technically is a completely gender neutral term.
But
Men can get breast cancer.
But I think, like our generation, we're like, we don't really give a shit. We don't really fucking care what you do. I think
Neither
it's
do
I call it
transgender people who
boomer
have
bait. 'cause-
children. They
What'd you
don't
say?
care. That's not them doing this. Maybe there's a couple. It's the minority of them that are doing this. It's people that are trying to be fake woke. That are
Yes,
saying,
that's-
no. You can't. You'll offend them. Really? Because they've been through more shit than most human beings. They chop their cock off for life. They're not worried about what you're calling they're feeding their kid. The kid's gonna be confused enough. It doesn't care where it's getting its milk. Just feed the motherfucker.
It's 100%. Yeah, the people who are like, I have to white knight for these people, so I
How
look
dare
better.
you? Why can't knights be Chinese?
Oriental knighting for these people.
Oh, hero! I get dragon. I love it. I can't fight dragon. I love him.
Like so, but because transgender people like want to not be murdered in the street. They're not carrying what you call breast or chest. They really don't care. Like so, yeah, it's people who are like, no, I have to protect them, but I won't care if they're physically attacked. They just don't say the word breast. It's fake. It's like fake woking.
When they're feeding their kid, all they're hearing is "Look at it feeding its kid." They're like, Jesus Christ, stop calling me it. And they're like, but please say chest feeding. Bobby,
chest feeding just sounds like
I actually wouldn't mind seeing a public chest feeding. I would like to see that.
we can have it happen at the next ravioli party.
You're sitting in the Starbucks and somebody
I don't know,
whips
when
out a fake tit and starts squeezing milk out of it. I think that would be either entertaining or hot.
To be honest, when I think of chest feeding, I just think of the xenomorph popping out of someone's chest.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think of chest
I've
feeding.
never been bothered by anyone breastfeeding. Like when people get weird like that, it's like, first of all, why do you care? Keep eating your sandwich. If a woman's feeding her kid, I don't care. If a transgendered person wants
Cheers,
to feed their kid,
kid.
I don't care. Just shut up the fucking kid. If the kid's yelling and I'm trying to have a sandwich, shut up your kid and feed it. Feed out your dick. I don't care what you do. Just feed it. Well, don't feed out your dick. Don't do that. Bobby.
Feel like it's whoever wants the change to happen. Like we all have breasts. Calling it chest feeding feels almost like more humiliating to people who don't have breasts than just calling it all breastfeeding. If the process is literally to put on a fake breast to feed the baby, why don't we just call it breastfeeding? It feels like an unnecessary thing completely. And just people want another reason to be angry.
Yeah, like
And I've already got plenty.
Pointing it out more. Like to say chest feeding, you're pointing out that there's something different. You can't just be a mom, but they're trying to identify as a carer of the child. I mean, doesn't matter what term you use. By saying that, you're going, you are different. They think no, they're making it all inclusive. You're not. By bringing it up constantly, you're making us go, oh yeah, you are fucking different. You're not a mom. I didn't notice your Adam's apple and your weird ass jaw. My bad, but way to go. And it's like, why? How many things we have to do that with? If they want to call their asshole their back pussy, that's fine. I don't care. But just do what you want with it. I don't care what you call things. Feed your fucking baby. The fact that we're
Plus, like-
bringing this up is it's just insane.
Breast and chest are that's literally interchangeable words for the most part. We've just given them one that means tits,
You
but
can't
technically
order
it's
chest
a
at
breastplate.
KFC, Pete.
What?
You can't order chest at KFC, but you can order breast meat.
I'm gonna
Not
try.
the same.
Give me the chicken chest.
Chicken chest. I'll take chicken chest and wings. Frank, I know you don't even understand half the words I said or know what a transgender person is. You called them trannies or look at that guy, fellow lady. But like, What do you
I
think?
mean,
It was a piece of shit.
It was such a non-story. It's such a stupid story. I started to
Your
daydream
story
about
wasn't great either, Frank.
an old Woody Allen movie where there's a
Speaking of
40-foot
pedophiles.
breast.
This is where you go.
There's this 40-foot breast. Maybe I shouldn't be saying it this week. But anyway, there's a 40-foot breast running around, and there's guys with a big bra, a 50-foot bra, trying to tackle the breast. And when they get close, the breast would start squirting milk at them, breast milk. And so what do you call that? I mean, if we got a transgender, I mean, what is
Shit
that?
movie
You got
by
a
a
loose
fucking
breast.
pedophile.
You got a loose breast on the loose. And you're trying to harness it.
Harness the power
I
of the
mean-
breast.
Frank,
What?
who's the piece of shit in the story I told?
Frankie. Now it's Frank again.
I would say me because I don't give a shit.
No, you're not a piece of shit. You're just, you don't care either way, but like,
Right.
Usually by the end
I
of
would
the
have
show,
to say
it's like
whoever created this stupid mess, who started this?
some
Was it
white woman.
was it the transgender community?
No.
Then I can
No.
understand it. It wasn't then. Okay, so whoever started it are a piece of shit because they're sitting high-fiving each other. Say, look, we got him talking about tits.
I'm talking about tits. That's the meeting they had. All the
Guys, welcome to the meeting. Let's talk about
We got
tits.
him talking about tits.
I'm gonna say Frank's the piece of shit because this is one of his pranks. He's like, "What if we make him call it chest feeding now?"
Frank's
Wish
whole
I
thing.
thought of it. I'm jealous.
Tyler Florence's
just
chest
sounds
party. At the end of the day, I don't know why we care about words. I don't give a fuck. I know why we do it, for attention, but this one's stupid. Listen, if two people are gonna care for a kid, or one person, or three fucking people, I saw that story where three dudes are raising a baby, which is weird.
It's so stupid. You have such a good thing going, and you ruin it with a baby.
Right, you got three dudes. You're having a good time. I mean, obviously, those three dudes, it's like, here's my dad, here's my other dad, here's the thing they fuck. It's like, because that's what the third dude is. He's just there being spit roasted. But maybe he holds the baby. What is this? At the end of the day, who cares how you're feeding your kid or what you're calling it? Because when I fed my kid, I didn't go, oh, I'm bottle feeding you. It was like, I'm going to feed my child. Like, who cares who's saying it out loud? Who's there to say the word? Call it chest feeding. A person just had
Sounds
a child.
terrible.
To tell nurses at a hospital to change their wording is weird because I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure the transsexual person isn't having the baby. So why are we talking to him then? They're going to be, the nurses aren't going to deal with that. The baby's popping out of the guy's fucking old nutsack that used to be a thing. Now it's opened up and the kid's coming. Who cares? Feed your kid. Fucking just feed your kid. You don't have to call it anything. Just feed it, and then if it wants to identify as something else, then make it identify as an Ethiopian so it doesn't eat. That's fine. Call whatever you want. I don't care. Frank, do you even know transgender people? Have you ever seen one live?
Yeah.
Like back in the day when they were just like, you thought that was gay?
Not back in the day.
Remember that? Like that's a
Yeah, he
when I
was chasing
growing
one
up,
down
they
there.
would
He was
day.
running them
you're
out of
gay.
town.
You have a dress on.
Yes.
How many did you run out of town, Frank? Come on.
How many did
I've
you
been,
pay?
I've
and
been
then
to a lot of
realize?
parties where a lot of
Ravioli
Transgender
party. That's the
ravioli
ravioli party.
transgender ravioli parties.
What's on the inside? It's a mystery.
Mystery meat. Leftovers.
Frank was licking their tortellini hole. That's what he was doing.
Chest
Frank,
feed
you ever
the
get tricked by a tranny?
No,
Frank?
not that I know of.
Okay.
You
Nah,
word in that question.
The
was
beauty of my
Frank.
situation, I never could be. They'd be like, aha. I'd be like, oh, well,
Be like bonus. All right.
I'm going to
I
roll
knew,
with it. It's fine.
Bobby, if I knew if I worded it that way, Frank might stumble into it. I use his terms and lingo.
He's
I
like,
always
no, I've never been
appreciate those.
tricked into it.
I always appreciate those.
I
I was
knew
on
up
board.
front.
It's fucking, yeah.
$75.
Oh, you're
Tuesday
transgender? Oh,
night.
that's fine. Wait, you're Polish? Get out.
You want to hear a really bad joke?
Let me tell you about this ravioli.
You won't care about words after your Frank's Polish joke. You know what? Either way, if you're gonna feed your kid with your chest or your breast, you should feed them Silk City hot sauce. That's what you should feed your babies. It's the best. It's from Vermont.
So hot it'll burn your dick off.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch this weekend. I like the Aztec Attack. It's a green pepper one, but if you eat too much, your blowing shit out your cornhole. It was a good cleansing, but it's
So,
really, it's not the sauce's fault. It's my Irish asshole's fault for not being able to handle it.
I don't do hot sauce,
scrambled eggs. It was fucking amazing.
but Pat loves hot sauce, so.
You know what? I have a bottle that's so fucking hot I can't do it. I'll give it to you guys so you can have
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I won't touch it, but he will.
Seamus and I tried it, and Seamus was trying to be all tough. He took a bite, and he's like, "It's fine." I'm like, it's not fucking. It's got ghost peppers in it and shit. There's one called like the Mango Madness one, and I did baked chicken. I threw it on there, and it was fucking amazing. Like they have got 7 different kinds, or they sent me 7 kinds. They have like 11 different kinds. You go to silkcityhotsauce.com, use the promo code POS. You save 15% off. They've got tons of stuff. It's all locally grown in Vermont. By the way, we learned this week. When last week we were making fun of where their name came from and where in Vermont they're from. The name Silk City is actually from New Jersey. That's their roots. They let me know that. They posted it up, and now they're in Vermont. They would never name it after a Vermont thing, they said. But they're starting to get in markets. They're awesome. They support awesome comedy, and the stuff is amazing. Even the ones I couldn't handle because the heat, there's flavor to it. It's all locally grown products. And if you buy stuff now and use the promo code, you get your stuff 15% off. Plus, you get a free bottle of cherry sriracha. And then you also get some stickers, which will be nice. You can put it over your chest breast areola Frankie parties. Frank, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some sauce, and you're going to use it. You're going to do a Frankie ravioli party during one of our...
Okay, with that sauce.
Serve it with that.
What was that code again, Pat?
It's our show, Frank.
POS.
The thing you say every show. The way you introduce...
Bobby, slow down. You said it too fast. God damn it.
Frank, but what's the code?
What's the code? Frank, I like how you didn't need to know
what's
the website.
What's the code?
You know the website?
Of what?
That's the last time they'll let us do a read for them.
EPS colon //
Yeah, my /colon hurt after
www.
eating some of that sauce. It was tough. SilkCityHotSauce.com, Frank.
Oh, yeah, silkcity.com. SilkCityHotSauce.com.
This is the great read by Frank. And I think I'm going to make you do like next week's. But yeah, just use that there. But guys, Pete, where can people follow you? Thank you for doing it. Where can they see all your shit?
Follow me on Instagram at Metal Pete Comedy and Twitter at Pete Angelo 13.
Steve, where can people hear you? All that stuff.
You're breaking up. What did you say?
Promote yourself.
Promote myself. Well, I'm just a lazy piece of shit most of the day. You can check out rock102.com or baxandobrien.com. Check out all our podcasts. Hours and thousands of hours of to listening pleasure. So there you go.
Frank, where can people not see your video with Tyler Florence?
You go to Frank Behavior on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. You could go to Frank Mergallo on Facebook. And tomorrow night...
What's the name of that, Frank?
Of what?
Just being you.
I think he leans in every time.
Yeah. Like a dumb fish. Go ahead. Promote it.
The Thirsty Thursday show with Frank Mergallo and Pat Oates at Comics at Mohegan Sun tomorrow night at 9:30. Our first show back, and we're all excited.
They won't.
So come out tomorrow night.
This will come out after that. But...
Well, we'll be there on the 18th
there
also.
You go.
There we go.
Okay. Bobby.
Check out the Eastside Dave show every Tuesday at 7:30 on compoundmedia.com.
You can watch the uncomfortableness that Bobby goes through on that show every week.
This week, I was off the burner. Thankfully, it was Flutzy's turn. But also follow me at Bobby_Tamburo. Got a lot of shows coming up. I'm with Gino a lot. If you want to come, let me know.
Well, I got coming up. I got Frank's dumb thing. I got March 13th. I'm in Coscob with Aaron Berg and Kevin Dombrowski and what's her name? Oh, Natalie Cuomo. We're on that show there.
I'll be DJing at Witt Farm for a 20-person wedding next weekend.
What's that like?
Ooh,
20 people weddings is weird, right?
It's awful. A couple ones I did over the summer, it was just like this. I don't even know why you're paying me to be here.
I'm going to one in May. It's going to be
like
35, 40 people. And it's
could have had someone run the iPod. It'd been fine.
You know what? I tried to convince these people to do that, and they still wanted a DJ there. They wanted me there. How bad is your marriage that you want some fat local radio celebrity?
You're like, hey, did you disclude all the attractive people? Is that who's coming? Just the 20 people you know?
Yeah.
Because I want to see the slutty bridesmaid people. That's
No, you don't see it, man. It's just like the family, and most of the the max is 30, but the 10 people are the people like me, the bartender, and the wait staff.
Yeah, the
That's
staff.
how they include the count.
Jesus.
How bad does the fight have to be over a Spotify playlist before you're just like, fuck it, disinvite your brother and we're hiring a DJ?
Probably got that bad for these people.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. And Bobby.
Remember to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you like it, head over to the Patreon to get the video version. And remember, don't be a piece of shit.